if you take out whatever equity that you have in there, and again, financial advisors will not tell you this, and I'm not saying I'm advising it, but I'm just saying this is the part where it's a good debt. If you're paying X amount in rent anyway, which is 100% interest of its own, is this a good enough debt to create for you an asset?
Okay, Dave Ramsey, y'all.
Let me tell you guys, this is what's happening with real estate. I promise you, you can look up this particular YouTube 5 years from now and you're going to go, yeah, that old fart was right again. So prices are going to go up. Rates are going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. They always have and they always will. The only rate that you cannot adjust is mine. My interest rate on my mortgage is 0 because I don't have a mortgage. That's the only one you can control.
How do you guys feel about that?
Dave Ramsey takes his teachings from a very biblical standpoint, and he's more of like, hey, don't be in debt, don't be in debt, don't be in debt. The problem with that, and I wouldn't say it's a personal problem, I would say it's an economic problem where our income is not going as high as our consumer goods, and that's what inflation is. So if they wait for not having a mortgage at all, you buy an average home of $500,000, how are you going to save enough money unless you are very, very aggressive with your investments at a very, very young age, which means your parents have had to do that for you as well in order for you to get to that point faster.
This guy goes, yeah, let me just save up for the next 50 years to afford to pay off a house. He's out of touch with the reality of the average American. The average home is 7x the average household income. So just save 100% of your income and don't pay taxes for 7 years. You're set. Genius. And that's what a lot of Americans are going through today. You know, like the average American is finding it hard already to save. So how are they going to buy a home cash? Yeah, you know, a lot of people disagree with some of the teachings from Dave Ramsey, but sometimes he has really, really good lessons to teach. It's really, really conservative. He could relate to a lot of people because it's really hard to save. And those same people that are getting loans on cars, homes, and all that, credit card, they are in debt. If you have debt, like for example, let's say you took out a loan and your monthly payment is, just for easy math, you're paying $500 a month for that loan, but then you're using it to buy an asset that's generating you like $1,000 to $2,000 of income. Is that a good debt? I think that's a great debt because that debt is helping you to generate $1,500 of net cash flow. But I think to the vast majority that he's speaking to don't understand that concept. Some of our friends and family members that we talk about cash flowing, they don't understand that concept. For them, it's really, really hard for them to fathom, how would I be able to make money from my home? How would I be able to make money from that loan? Like for them, they don't understand that because they only understand that I have to go work a 9 to 5 and collect a check at the end of the week. So I think his message reaches a lot of individuals at that point, but that same individual that this related to, eventually they get to a point in their lives to where this won't benefit them anymore. They've outgrown this advice.
I think to make it really simplified, okay, I'm just going to use $100. So say for instance, guys, Charles needs money and Charles says, hey, you know, Lisa, can I get $100? I'll give you 110 in a month. And then I go to Chia. I was like, you know what, Chia, I need $100. Would you be willing to give me $100 and I'll give you $105? See, I just made $5 without even using my own money. That's what Chia's talking about. You got to take a look at the numbers to see, hey, if you put yourself in a situation, if you use your money, your mortgage is 6-7%, but if you take out whatever equity that you have in there, and again, financial advisors will not tell you this, and I'm not saying I'm advising it, but I'm just saying this is the part where it's a good debt. If you're paying X amount in rent anyway, which is 100% interest of its own, and when you get into an age where it's harder for you to move, you're retiring, your social security income is very, very limited, that's the part where it's like you got to consider, is this a good enough debt to create for you an asset? The car will not do that for you. Things that you buy, material things that depreciate in value, is always going to be a liability. But an asset is something that you can actually grow your wealth and grow your portfolio so that after you pay off that certain amount, is it going to potentially build you a better lifestyle? Homes, yes. Cars, no.
And nowadays, there's so many ways to like make income on your certain debt. You know, you just gotta get smart and get creative, but there's a lot. But he's saying, watch this video again in 5 years, and you guys are gonna hear me say it. Prices are gonna go up, your rates are gonna stay the same for 30 years, but everything else is gonna go up. And then he closes it off with, my mortgage rate is 0 because I ain't got no mortgage, because he pays everything cash. Do you guys think prices and everything's gonna go up in 5 years?
Look at the inventory, Chia.
Based off of today's inventory, yes, it seems that's gonna happen. Everything's gonna go up in the next 5 years.
I mean, unless something catastrophic happens and people just lose a lot of their jobs and whatnot, AI is taking over all these jobs, then that would be a different story. But because inventory continues to be so low, nobody wants to sell their house, especially because they got a really, really good interest rate. I say people now who got their 6 to 7% interest rate, and 5 years from now, when it goes up to 10, 11, I would not be surprised at all if it did. I would be more surprised if interest rates went back to 3% than them going up to 10%. The higher the interest rate is going to be, the less consumers who are in a house right now, they're going to try their best to keep their mortgage. They're going to try to get the second job, whatever side hustle that they need to do in order to make do. And all those people are like, well, I don't want strangers living in my house. They're going to reconsider that.
And most of the time, some of these people call into the show, and I'll watch some of his reactions to it, and he'll tell them on the show, don't buy a home then. If you can't afford it to pay it cash, don't buy it. And then now that person is like renting forever. Like, can you imagine we tell some of our first home buyers that, hey, I know you could buy right now, and I know you could afford it, but you shouldn't because it's not cash. They would have lost out on all that equity build. They would have lost out on building all those first time memories with their first kid, their family, how they outgrow it and then upgrade or downsize because now their kids are going away. They will lose out on all of that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope to see you guys next time. All right, peace out. We're gonna close it up here. Thanks for watching.